example 3 from 7.8 says two planes travel at right angles to each other after leaving an airport at the same time. 1 hour later, they are 390 kilometers apart. If one plane travels 210 kilometers per hour faster than the other, what is the speed of the slower plane? So what we want to start with is some variable identity. So let x equal. We're going to have x equal our slower plane because that's what we're going to be solving for. Our solutions will be the value of our speed for the slower plane. So let x equal the speed of the slower plane. Then the second plane isn't just going to be y, it's going to be x plus 210 because one plane travels 210 kilometers per hour faster than the other, and that's going to be faster than the slower plane. We're looking for the slower plane as x, so the other one must be x plus 210 will be the speed of the faster train, or plane. Faster plane. So as a diagram, just so that that makes a little bit more sense, I'm going to draw that out. So say there's an airport here, A. The question said they left each other at a right angle, which means at 90 degrees they took off in different directions from the airport. One's traveling at x speed, one's traveling at an x plus 210, and an hour later their distance apart is 390 kilometers. And since it's per hour, it said 1 hour later, so we know that the speed is 390 per hour, or the distance apart is 390, which will be the same for our speeds in terms of 1 hour. So to solve for unknown sides for a right triangle, we need to remember what we would use for that. We don't know any angles, so we cannot use trig. We need to use our Pythagorean theorem, which will be x squared plus x plus 210 squared equals 390 squared. So x squared, again, x plus 210 squared, we don't just square x and square 210, we need to FOIL that out as if it looked like x plus 210 times x plus 210. So x times x is x squared plus 210x plus 210x plus 210 times 210, 44,100, and then equals 390 squared is 152,100. So we need to do some simplifying because in order for us to solve for x and factor, we need everything on one side equal to 0. So combining like terms, x squared plus x squared is 2x squared, plus 210x plus 210x is 420x. And then we'll subtract this to the other side. And combine that with the 44,000, we get subtract 108,000 equals 0. So now we can factor this. Again, we're looking at what would multiply to a times c and add to b. With such large numbers, so they are even, we could easily factor out a GCF of 2. But we're still going to be left with fairly large numbers, and it'll take quite some time to identify what values would be that. So again, since we've learned what our quadratic formula is, you can always use it. I would do that here. So x equals your negative b value plus or minus the square root of b squared, subtract 4 times your a value times your c value. Make sure that that root is across all of your values there, all over 2 times your a value. And just a matter of simplifying underneath the root, we are going to get 1,040,400 all over 4. Luckily, that is a perfect square, so we don't have to try and play with values there. The square root of that is 1,020. All over 4. The numerator values are all both divisible by 4. So I have negative 105 plus or minus 255. So now I just need to figure out what those values would be. So negative 105 plus 255 gives me 105, or 150. That's one value. Or negative 105 subtract 255 gives me negative 360. So these are my two possible answers. So again, in terms of the context, what are we solving for again? Well, in our let statements up here, we said x is going to be the speed of my slower plane. And when I compare my answers, my possible answers, I have 150 kilometers an hour or negative 360 kilometers per hour. And I think we can all agree this does not make sense. I cannot have a negative speed in terms of how fast my plane is flying. So even though that's an answer algebraically, that is not a solution that would satisfy this situation here. So x is 150 kilometers per hour. The speed of my slower train is 150 kilometers per hour. This then would mean it doesn't ask us to go farther. But if we were to plug that back in for the second plane, 150 plus 210 equals 360 kilometers per hour would be the faster one, if it asked you to identify the speed of both planes, but it just says the slower one. So our answer there is 150 kilometers per hour.